I want to bring you up to date on today's nor'easter as well as the city's continuing hurricane recovery. Because of today's storm, coastal areas in our city face a risk of some flooding until 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. And the National Weather Service warns that there could be some major flooding in spots already eroded by Sandy. The difference here is that the barriers of sand or rock that were there before perhaps are not there. So far, we've not had any reports of flooding today, and we are through the first and most dangerous cycle of high tide. So if we got through this, we probably will get through the next one, which comes at something like 1 in the morning. We are also under a high wind warning through 4 a.m. tomorrow. The winds will blow at 25 to 40 miles an hour, with gusts tonight reaching 60 miles an hour or higher. The storm will involve a wintry mix of rain and snow. Anybody that's been outside understands that. Through the rest of this evening and ending with rain tomorrow morning. Although big accumulations of snow are unlikely, streets are going to be slick, sloppy, and visibility will be reduced. There is a band over Nassau right now of snow. The weather forecasters say that their original forecast, 1 to 3 inches of wet, slushy stuff at the very worst stands, and they don't think it's going to be any more than that. But with that in mind, please don't drive if you can avoid it. Use mass transit instead. If you must drive, exercise extreme caution. Now, it is a good idea to stay indoors with this because Hurricane Sandy weakened trees, and the high winds tonight could cause more trees and limbs to come down, and the storm debris still on our streets to blow around dangerously. We'll also have unseasonably cold temperatures tonight, unfortunately. They'll drop into the mid-30s, and the high winds will make it feel as if it's in the mid-20s. In the face of these weather conditions, we've taken a number of steps to protect New Yorkers, especially our most vulnerable New Yorkers. Last night, we ordered the evacuation of 4 chronic care facilities on the Rockaways, 3 nursing homes with a total of more than 450 residents, and 1 adult care center with more than 170 residents. All 4 facilities are located in areas that were hard hit by Hurricane Sandy. And while since then they've been operating successfully with emergency generators, the city and state departments of health decided the threat of a loss of power during a new storm surge made it advisable to move their residents to a safer spot. This evacuation was completed very late last night. They were taken to other nursing homes and facilities that had space available. All the residents, I'm happy to say, were moved safely and are being taken care of. And I want to commend our emergency medical service personnel for their very smooth coordination of this event. A lot of the people were not happy that they had to move, but their safety is our first consideration. Because of the continued threat of flooding, as they did yesterday, police officers are making announcements over patrol car loudspeakers in spots that are close to the shoreline and most vulnerable to further flooding. They're doing that to encourage people who are elderly or homebound or who have infants to go someplace where they're certain to be safe and warm. Hundreds of volunteers, you should know, have braved some increasingly nasty weather to knock on doors in these communities today. And like the NYPD officers, they're letting people know about the city's shelters and how to get to them. All such centers have at least one entrance that is wheelchair accessible. The FDNY has also positioned additional ambulances and 20 special task forces outfitted with small inflatable boats, pumps, chainsaws, and other equipment near potential flood areas in Brooklyn, Queens, and on Staten Island. So we think we're ready for anything. We haven't and won't order the kind of large-scale evacuation that we did in advance of Hurricane Sandy. But if you are experiencing significant flooding during Sandy, you should consider taking shelter with friends and family at a safer spot or using one of the city's storm shelters. In particular, residents of Hamilton Beach, Garrison Beach, and Breezy Point should consider going someplace tonight to be a little bit on the safe side. This is for your safety and to deter any burglars. The NYPD will conduct patrols in these areas and other areas as well as on Staten Island.